Welcome back to ABI-DOS. So yeah, last episode we started working on Minority Reporter, and I think we made some good progress, but definitely not good enough. Um, the idea that I had for this was to basically count the number of each attribute there was. So like how many are these values, how many are these values, and so on and so forth. And using that determine what is the minority and what is the majority. Uh, however, um, I think I'll run out of space here. It looks somewhat good, but the problem is that the wiring is going to be very problematic to work with. Yeah, because you can see the wiring here requires straight lines, but my zigzag pattern also interferes. The sensors and the non-sensors don't really, you know, work very well. So I was looking through other people's solutions. Yes, I was looking through other people's solutions, and I thought I found something very, very, very clever. I want to see if I can replicate it, but I'm actually going to not just copy their solution, but I'm gonna sort of like merge a couple ideas I found together, see if I can get something a bit more optimized. The idea is that one way to one way that I didn't realize you could use to remove majorities is the synchronizer. The synchronizer is more useful at this point because the synchronizers basically only activate or only release an object when some other number uh, of synchronizers are also touched by U-bits. So basically we can use this to determine for majorities. We can basically say that if three objects step on three synchronizers at once, that would activate a fourth synchronizer to release a certain bit. And the way I think that might work is, well, you need to be able to you need to be able to get each of these different values to to basically stand for a certain amount of time. So like the 154s have to touch the synchronizers together, but at a different time than the 160s, for example. And we also have to account for color, right? So I probably should have started off by saying that one way I could do this is by associating each mixture of color and number to a different value. So if we were to do that, then we can actually do something very interesting. Actually, something very similar to the idea we had for file sorter, I think. The way I have file sorter was basically grouping each of the, yeah, so again, two attributes, one letter and one bar percentage filled up. Two attributes. We can use that same idea for Minority Reporter because we also have two attributes, each of which have four possible values, four colors and four numbers as we determined last episode. Which means that yes, in the same way we managed to assign a separate value to each of these, we can also assign a separate value to each combination of attributes. So a green 160 and a red 160 can act differently. And because the range of values is basically the exact same, if I remember what I wrote down here, I wrote 154, 160, 166, and 167. That is basically a range of 14 different values. Which means that if we basically split each color to own 14 separate values, then we would be able to obtain unique values for all 16 possible combinations. 4 per range of 4 per set of 14, and 4 sets of 14, which gives you 16 total values. And the reason why it's 14 is because, again, these numbers themselves range 1 to 14. So we can have 0 to 13 representing maybe like the colorless values, then 14 to 27 representing the next set, then 28 to 41 representing another color, and then, you know, the last color being the last color. So yeah, that's how I think I should do it. Now, what the solution I thought was very clever did was that they made separate tracks for each of these. So all 5 of these had their own tracks that each did the operation. Basically, based on color, they would add a certain number to it. But I think I can do something more interesting here. Because I did this last episode, right? What I basically attempted to do was have all of these connect together. And yeah, so here, we can already firstly subtract 154. And this basically gives us the value, how many above the minimum value are you. The 167, which is the largest, will be 13 above, 160 will be 6 above, then 154 will be 0 above the largest value. And this already gives you basically your position within the set of 14 that you're going to be in. Anywhere from 0 to 13 will give you this value. Next, we also need to account for color. And so, another way I figured out you could do this by, looking at someone else's solution is you can actually have color sensors that link to outputs that add certain values to your total. So for example, you can have 3 Y values here, this, and this. And basically, since it takes, it takes 3 steps to get to the point where I would like them to merge. I would like the merge to be here. I guess they should be further away then. Yeah. So if a red is activated here, a Y is activated here that will, for example, add a certain value to it, which bumps it to the next tier. Did I do this in the last? Let me just check if I did this in file sort. I'm pretty sure I did this in file sorter, didn't I? Yeah, did I? I took... What did I take? I actually don't remember what I took here. Right, I added 14 based on... I don't know what this gave me. Oh, right, this multiplying by 14 basically gives you which tier you're in, and then that tier is added onto you. So in this one, each color represents tier, and each tier has a certain minimum value. So for example, Y will have a minimum value of 14, so red will be selected to be 14. So anything that's red will be in the range of 14, which is 0 plus 14, to 27, which is 13 plus 14. The next one will be the next tier up, which is 28. And then next one will be next tier up, which is, I believe, 42. That's what you get if you add that. And so you basically get these things. Yeah. And of course, we should have a minus 154 somewhere where everything will experience that minus 154. You basically get the full set of items here. So blue will be in the range of 42 to, I think, 55. Yeah. So blue will be in the range of 42 to 55. If I maybe went over to another case, yeah. So you get a bunch of 160s. That will be in the range 42 to 55 again. As you can see here. And if we keep going, we get multiple different test cases and we just get certain values. Using this, we can assign a specific value to each combination. Each combination is one of 5 different values. I think this is really cool. The next thing I want to do is I actually want to split these up. Yes, I want to split these up. So I could have conveyors that basically activate at some amount of time. Like this. Yeah. And basically pull them down at a certain point in time. So for simplicity's sake, let's just add an obstructor so it's easier for us. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, we'll wait for 11 turns before releasing everything. And if we time this right, we can actually have this activate at the same time by activating these at the same time. It needs to be a lot shorter, so let's go back down to, I guess, 9. And then these will all come out here. Now, the way I want to do this is each of these now have their own specific values. Now, how do I get these values to be separated by time? This is where the real cleverness of the machine shows up. Like, I was just really impressed by this idea. I really hope that I'm not stealing off their idea, but I was just really impressed with this idea, and like, this is really ingenious. I don't know if this is intended, but if someone were to make a puzzle in this game, this sort of like really cool setup is what I would expect to be an intended solution. But clearly there's no such thing as an intended solution in a game like this. But what I can do is I can write the value itself onto, that's all right there, onto an obstructor. Yeah, and the great thing about that is that let's see, an obstructor. I keep not realizing, yeah. Which means that now each of these will wait for a different amount of time. Look at that. The 42s will wait for 42 turns, the 13 will wait for 13 turns, and therefore I can separate them by time. The other thing that I find really impressive about this is that there is only ever one and one majority, meaning that I can basically use that to isolate the majority very easily. So for example, I can simply have it so that there are some synchronizers. These synchronizers shouldn't wait for anything else, so they should all say 0. They should all just let the item through. However, if there were ever a case where 3 of these come in, another synchronizer here could wait for that moment. It could wait for 3 other synchronizers to be touched, and at that point, move to activate something. So that something could be anything, really. It could be this. It could be a nullifier into a throwawayer, I guess. Is that how you describe it? So right now, these will all actually nullify and legitimately legitimately skip the throwaway step. So if I nullify for 1 turn and I skip the throwaway step, you see that it doesn't get thrown away. However, if this nullifier was somehow deactivated by this thing, it will actually not throw away. So let me just have another layer here to make sure things don't go a bit wrong. But the 13 will pass through the first recycler, which is very intended. The 34 will do the same. And there you go. And then these things are the next ones. They will activate this will activate these, and so there will be no nullification. These will get thrown away, and so that is how you get the majority to be thrown away. The beauty of this is that the nullifier only needs to be activated once, because there's only exactly one majority for every set of 5. That is just such convenient. Like, there's no need to reset the system, because every time the system runs, it only activates once. That is so beautiful. I just love that. And we do still have quite a lot of space to do the remaining things. But yeah, this is, wow, I just love this so much. Yeah, and wow, okay. So then what's next? The things that are thrown in are the minorities, and they have to be reported. Their positions are reported. After this, we can really just set their values based on their positions. We know the first one will always be here, second will always be here, third will always be here, fourth will always be here, fifth will always be here. So whatever's the majority, we can just set their position, I think. So A is 100, right? Yeah, A is 100. And we can basically just write this down. Oh. 104, 103, 102, 101, and then there you go. You basically now have the values of your majorities. I'm just gonna put the obstructor here just to show them off. your minorities will be in positions A and B, which are values 0 and 100 and 101. Oh, so I don't add 101, I add 100 here. Okay. So I guess I did a bit of indexing issues, but that shouldn't be a problem. There you go. So in the first step, yes, the minorities are in positions 100 and 101, or the first and second positions, which are linked to the values 100 and 101, and you only get those two values. There comes even more beauty to the solution, but for now we already have the values that we want. And I'm not entirely sure how to use these values yet, but you only ever have two separate values, right? Because there'll only be at most 2 items in the minority. If there were 3 items, then that wouldn't be a minority anymore. Well, as we figured out, it turns out AA, BB, and C doesn't count as a possible case here. There'll always be 3 items at least that are the same, which is why this works, which is very nice. So you only have 2 items in this lane at all times. Unfortunately, if we immediately ran them through, there is a very small chance that they merge with each other, which I don't like. I'm not sure if we can take that chance, but that probably will come some situation where this fails. But yes, this looks very well. Then I probably want to use this space, maybe. Yeah, I probably want to use this space. Should I take the chance? I don't think I should take the chance. All they basically did is there are 5 different lanes that are all held together. That's kind of awkward though, I feel like. Although I could definitely make this work a little bit more to my advantage here. Yeah, I can definitely make this work a bit more to my advantage here. So I don't use the vertical. I use a horizontal instead. It gives me a bit more space to work with these guys as they come out of these. Shall we do that? I guess. Yeah, I guess we should, right? Okay. I guess we're gonna rebuild this. But I think we've made a lot of progress so far. Let's copy this into another save slot. And then we'll demolish the entire thing and rebuild it. Okay, so rather than going straight horizontally, I want to go vertically with the 5 conveyors being here. This is going to be a flip of whatever this is. But you get the idea. And then here we'll just have these items down here, down here, down here. You will have the Y ports like this. I kind of forgot the timing required. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So the Y ports have to be here. That should be fine. We can add a -154 at the end. I'm pretty sure everything will pass through this -154 anyway. Even if they merge, the 154 will take place and it only needs to occur once. So yeah, this will add 14, this will add 28, and this will add 42. And then each of these colors... Oh, they have to... Ooh, that's kind of a problem, right? Red has to link to this one. Green has to link to this one. And then blue has to link to the one opposite. Hopefully we have enough space to deal with this, but I don't really think we do. I guess one way I could do it is like this. Then I want red to sort of like wrap around like that. That's kind of wonky, but I think it works. Hopefully it doesn't mess with the steps that are coming out of here. Like I don't want that to be a nullifier that's accidentally activated by this. Although that might be given my steps. So like we want to write the value down. We want to write it down into an obstructor. Yeah, isn't nullifier going to be immediately after this? Oh, it's going to be very closely after this, which is unfortunate. The nullifier is going to be right here, which just barely doesn't work. Oops. Okay, well I guess it's fine if I do that. Maybe? It should be fine, right? If I'm just 1 off. The timing, the big timing issue is kind of like here instead. Let's get rid of the red wire. Shift you guys back to the original positions. And see if I can copy you guys down to here. you will run this way. Hopefully there's enough space to deal with you afterwards, because there should be. Yeah, I'll leave some space to meddle with things, because I know there's going to be a point where instead of doing all of this, I make them semi-active and have this be the one that activates it first. So like this should happen instead. Okay, this still works in terms of timing, so we're fine here. And then, you know, we can do this sort of thing. Yeah, okay. This looks to be very much workable. And then we still have some way to work out all of these. Okay. This will be the last digit, so this is 104. 103, 102, 101, 100. And then basically, you know, the usual. They will basically just be ported in to 5 and 6. So I really don't know if I should try doing this. I guess the idea is if I just held everything in here and then, you know, activate after some time, that could work out, right? Because all of these will no longer be synced. Will this ever be synced to something? No, it's first. It takes a shorter path and it's first, so it's never going to sync with anything. Okay, nothing here will sync. Fortunately, I believe nothing here will sync. 105 can go first. And I guess once this happens, it needs to activate a conveyor which sends it to 106. I'm doing this very rudimentarily. So it should look like this. Like that. But obviously there's more stuff that's going to happen, right? Actually, is there? The 106 in general should just reset this thing, right? To an A value. I don't know why I put a B signal there. And then it will call out this X again, so... this X is a little bit difficult to call. How am I gonna call this X? It's stuck in the corner. It's very hard to deal with. I don't know. But that's what I want this 06 to do, basically. Anyway, once this happens, the minorities will be thrown in, the majorities will be thrown out. Like that. And then, you know. In fact, because of how this works, I actually throw this entire set of bits all the way here. And things will still work fine. I'm not sure if this means I can fit anything in here. I guess I can use a blue wire here. Okay, so now my idea is to flip this line. Okay, so we start off with the weighting. We start off with a B signal. Then this and this. Okay. So... this B signal will activate you. And this B signal will activate you. The magic comes in the colors. So this can happen. But so can something like this. Which should perfectly work, I think. Also means that this X can finally be called, right? Because unless this 1 is activated somehow, which won't be happening because this B will be... Oh... No, that's fine. I guess once the number is written down, it resets to becoming active for some reason. Or is it only a one-turn thing? You know, it might be only a one-turn thing. Anyway, this still works all fine. Anyway, we will get all the... Again, everything thrown in, everything thrown out. The idea is that after this point, something will wait. And then active. Okay, so for this 6, right? we also want this to be activated as the last digit goes into 6. We know something will go into 6 because there are always going to be ellipses. Also, there must be a colorizer that colors everything white at the end. Yeah, because the colors here remain colored, yeah. So the colorizing can actually be at the start or at the end, doesn't really matter. Yeah, the colorizing check is already here, so this colorizer can be anywhere. I guess we'll put it at the start for like beauty, but it doesn't really matter. We'll put it at the end for now. Okay, so next. We want an ellipses to wait for some amount of turns, which should be the same for everything, right? Go in at the very end when everything else has gone in. So it waits for some number of turns. It will activate all of these. The B sensor, I guess. We'll use red because red is still available to be used at this point for this set of symbols. Then it needs to basically duplicate itself, huh? Okay, that's interesting. I could have... I could just have two X symbols, honestly. That produce two... Yeah, that produce two values, right? No, because then they'll merge here, so no. The duplication does have to occur at some point. Okay. I mean, yeah, it should still be fine. Okay, so let's do this again. We will wait. After waiting, we'll duplicate. One of them will wait longer than the other. Which probably just means that I'll just go this way. Which means I can also flip the entire thing. So like it will look like this, I guess. Yeah. So you have two different values that are each... these all need to point up. These are... Yeah, okay. This doesn't have to be that high up. Like this. Yeah, I think this works. So this will become the ellipses, which are 181. There will have to be a B sensor after a certain point in time, which I can put here. This B sensor will basically activate all of these. So the amount of time it takes to wait here, we just need to count. I think I saw 60 when this happened. Although this has a maximum value, right, of 55. It is at the maximum value of 55. Then you will have to wait about 55 cycles here. I don't know how to really do the math, but we can basically just add 13 to whatever we deem this value to be fit. So 13 plus... That was 60, 61, 62. 62 plus 15 is 60... No, 75. Alright, we'll wait 75 cycles. We'll see if that's valid. I mean, it should be valid in all cases because the maximum amount of time taken to get here is, once again, around 75 cycles. So we'll see if that works or not. So after some time, this will let things through. Now these will overlap because they will all go on the same path. They'll all be colored. These come in. Wait, the 181s... Ooh. The 181s don't always go in. Oh, so this should be 6 and 5 though. Because the larger one will go in first. Wait, but... No, if there's only a single one... Oh, that might be a problem. I might have to go down instead of up. That shouldn't really be a problem. But yeah, you'll always have to deal with the smaller value first. The idea is I could technically shift the 6 and 5 and flip them. So that the larger value gets counted as a 6 and the smaller value gets put into S5. But if there's only one value, then that value must also be put into S5, which means that the ellipses are going to be a problem. Okay, so we're just gonna rebuild this entire machine then. Let's get rid of the coloring. Which means that we got rid of all of this. Got rid of all of this. Jeez. Changed all of these to face down. It's here that we need to do our stuff. I guess it's not really that much of a problem. So like, it looks like this, I guess. So it will go into... It will just basically do the usual stuff. It will go into S5 first, but then suddenly change directions after S5 is activated, and then go into S6. Afterwards, S6 will activate this to turn back. Yeah. Okay. The question is, how are you going to make sure that... yeah, okay. I think I can see how this works. So this B, not only can it activate this, it can also activate a throwaway mechanism for that. So we can have ellipses being prepared. Right? The ellipses can be prepared. And basically there can be ellipses prepared for both of these values. However, they can be thrown away if deemed necessary. So these will wait for a certain amount of time. After that, I don't know, one of them will activate this. I don't know, I guess a longer one can activate it. And then once these are all thrown out, these have to wait for a while. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It takes 7 cycles to get to this, and I guess 9 cycles to get to this. I could make it 8 cycles as well. Okay, let's just leave this in the corner first. I kind of want to deal with how I would do this. So I want to do something like this, right? Where these bees will activate throwaway mechanisms for these guys. I want to use the same mechanism as this, actually. That's actually really cool. I think I could pull that off. So each of these will activate nullifiers that will throw away if necessary. If these B sensors are activated, that means something's here. They will activate the nullifier to deactivate, which will cause them to actually get thrown away, like this. And therefore, if they are thrown away, they will not be sent into here. Yeah. So I want them to look like this. They should also wait for a bit before coming here, because they do need to wait for all these bits to come in and activate these as necessary first. After these bees, though, they kind of... we might have a problem. Also, I guess this should go back to being 75 again for both of these. Okay, let's check this out. We'll just wait for the entire thing to run. Okay, I forget. I need to activate this. That should be fine. We will wait for, I guess, 5 cycles. Yeah. Okay. I think a good place to put a breakpoint is here, so that when something gets here, yeah, we can immediately check on these guys. They'll get thrown in. 100 will activate this. The other one will activate this. Wait, what? Oh, this A... Oh, deactivates that. Okay. Which means that instead of a red wire, I'm gonna have to use a blue wire on this, just so that this A won't actually affect this. Alright, let's see if we can do that. So they'll get thrown away. Yeah, okay. We need a colorizer. I kind of forget, but I guess the colorizer can be put anywhere I like, really. Everything will be white at the end of things. Also, if they don't get thrown away, they must be equal to 181, because they must enter as ellipses. And then the idea after that is that since one of these we activated, that can activate... Ooh. I want to activate these guys. This, and this. I guess this B sensor could do it. Actually, so could this B sensor. Right? Yeah. So like, Why not? Let's see if this manages to work. So the B sensor will activate all of these to reset themselves. The entire thing will start over again. This will do its thing to get thrown away. The nullifier, though, might be problematic because the nullifier needs to be unnull. It needs to be returned back to its original position. Yeah. So yeah, at some point after this, there needs to be a returning of the nullifier back to its original position. This one as well. Which means I need an A somewhere. So if we just check with a regular set of values, I think I could use a similar timer to this timer over here, which ensures everything is passed through as per required. Which can be as early as... or it can be really, really early, actually. Only an A somewhere. Honestly, that should be fine. An A I can put somewhere. I think I can put it here, actually. An A sensor here to, fancily enough, re-trigger this. And also... this. Oh, that's really fancy. I said that this B might untrigger it, so we're gonna have to have... what are we gonna have to do? Okay, so... okay, firstly I want this to be blue, so that only these get triggered by this B sensor. Next, I want this to trigger, to reactivate this. I also want this to reactivate this. Yeah, yes. So this looks good. And then since these will always come later, because this will release at the same time as this. Yes, okay, this looks like it is workable. Just kidding, why is it not? So we start with 100, we go to 101. These all get thrown away. Whoa! Ah, this one resets it too fast. Really? Oh, because it gets... okay, because this B also happens to release this guy. Okay, that's a problem. Why is this here? Right, to activate... I don't know, something was supposed to activate it. But since that is no longer required, I don't know why it's running across all of these. These are completely useless. Then we can just run it through this and ignore that entirely. Should be. So, okay. Yes, that's good. These will wait until the next thing comes in. Activate these. These will do the activations as necessary. And they will get thrown away. Next one. Let's check. Let's just check. The 20s and 26 will be let through as per normal. Oh, no. Something doesn't reset this. Oh, is it this B sensor? I think it's this B sensor that unactivates this. Okay. This B sensor activates this only, and therefore should be done with a blue wire. Okay. Let's see if I can run through this. Okay, so these guys come out again. Yeah, these are back to being A position. Very nice. The waiting occurs as expected. 20 and 26 will be let through as expected. Okay, 55 should not be let through as expected. Yes. This A will reset these guys to act as per usual. These will be held. I don't think they're held long enough, to be fully honest. It takes a while for you to get from here to here. Doesn't it? It does. In fact, it takes a bit too long. It's one shot. Alright, let's put these at 7, just to be safe. Okay. Let's try that again. I have to, like, do this a lot, but it's alright. So this happens, this happens. These will get thrown away. These will run through. They're very nice. They both get thrown away as expected. New values come in. Now only the 14 gets through, so this is where we look for what we are trying to look for, which is an ellipses. These all get thrown away. This will activate B only after, you know, this gets in. This B will activate only this, but this stays as a nullifier, which means this will pass through, become a 181, and pass through. Okay, very nice. That works. And, you know, hopefully it just works for everything else. No, it doesn't. Well, it immediately fails for the next one. Why? We immediately look for B and C, but what come in are not B and C. Why is that? I mean, yeah, these are B and C. I'll have to wait a bit again. Okay, that's fine. Why? This... okay, I get it. Nothing reactivates this upon coming in here. Wait, what? What? Wait, I don't get it. Why is this... Oh, because of this B. Oh. Okay. It was like... Oh, it's like something here should reactivate this. That's kind of awkward. Because nothing reactivates this, right? Okay. Can I just quickly add an A somewhere to activate this? Like, like maybe in here, if I can. That kind of feels a bit not very nice. I just need something to reactivate this after coming through here. It can't be. I mean, it's only two things, right? Let's see. After the ellipses, because only 5 gets through here, this doesn't get reactivated. So it's like, yeah, it's like this should reactivate as well. We just don't really have the space for that, but I can definitely change that. I don't know if I need this Y to be all the way up here or not. Theoretically speaking, if I made U blue and I used red on this wire, I should be entirely able to do something like this. Oof, that kind of messes with things a bit. Yeah, this definitely does not work. Yeah, okay. So like it's like this jumping over is necessary. Also, this has to be a different color. Like if this is red, if I made this blue, this would have to be red, and then whatever red wire comes in here, yeah, it just isn't possible. That's a bit awkward. I really hope that I had a bit more space. I mean, I might. Okay. Let's see if I can resolve this. One way I could do it is have an A here that activates this to position A. Only problem is that I need to dodge all of these. I guess I guess I can go down. Yeah, I guess I could go down here. Since something will be coming here at some point, we'll just go here. Use a blue wire. I don't know if I should use a blue wire. Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think it should be fine. Maybe. Is it fine? This is kind of messy. I guess the red wire is also fine. But like, do I really want to use the red wire? I want this A to activate this guy. It looks like red wire is necessary. Okay, hold on. I can avoid... Okay, so if instead of the red wire going here, it went up here, I should be able to fit a red wire in there without ever touching this red wire. Is this okay? This is very awkward. I don't know if this is okay or not. But like, maybe. That's very awkward, but you know, it looks like it works so far. So there will always be something coming down here, and therefore because there's always something coming down here, this will always be activated to be A by the time this ends, right? Yes, I think that's the case. The idea is that everything will pass through here by the time these are released. Because we go in stages. This is like stage 1, and then this section is stage 2. So since stage 1 always finishes first, this will always be activated to be A at some point. Aha! But why is this 100 here? When did this get in here? Oh, well, because this isn't activating there. There you go. Alright, so let's go all the way back to our breakpoint here, where we first noticed the issue, which is that this didn't reactivate. Doesn't matter, because this 54 will eventually turn this back, right? Yeah. Okay. So that looks like it works so far for this. I wonder if there are any other issues after this. I don't know, moment of truth. Yes, there are. Which come from, well, it's even the immediate one after this. Alright, let's look at that then. So once these two come in, the next set of items come in. The 55s are... So these are thrown away. The 55 should be in on its own, really. Is the 55 going to be a problem for these guys, maybe? The 50... Oh, is it because this activates all of these? Ah, so the idea is that these should be reactivated after they get deactivated once. Okay, well, I mean that should be fine, right? Because these get released at this point, which is... So at this point, they'll be here. At this point, there'll be a wait. Then they'll just be reactivated to this A over here, I think. Hopefully that works out. So the idea is that the nullification happens at this stage, or the anti-nullification happens at this stage, and then the A will reset this nullification here. So yes. Okay. So now if we checked over here, does this... Yes, the 55 now should pass through normally. Which means that the 55 will enter as 100. These guys will... They will take the paths as expected. Okay. Ah, why are there still problems? Why is this E a problem? So the E is again a problem. Wait, E? Yes, E is 104. Which is this one. What? Wait. Oh, get rid of that breakpoint. Okay, here the 160. Oh, there's a... Oh, I see. It's a single step, isn't it? The single step has messed things up greatly. How greatly has it messed things up? There, okay. I guess this thing would just be pushed this way. If it's just one later, I think we'd actually make it through. That's a really stupid problem to have. Hopefully this works now though. So the 54 will still be nullified. Now it will stop being nullified. These 55s get thrown away. There you go. Does it solve every other problem we have? It does. Okay, thank goodness. Are we therefore done, or is there still some issue that lies hidden? Alright, we have gone through multiple phases. We have stated that there are some very, very minute Or yeah, some cases a very minute chance of happening, but maybe they're all also still worked with. Looks like it. There you go. Nice. Okay. That's Minority Reporter. It's a very, very big machine. It is the most computer-like I think I've ever made. The other most computer-like I've ever made being File Sorter, which coincidentally uses a very similar idea. But okay, I like it. That actually means, yes, we finally unlocked a neural link conflux. So yeah, File Sorter looks... Oh, it's just not this one. It's Key Generator, I think, that looks like it. Yeah, Key Generator had the most computer-like idea, but there's a very big mess here that isn't really computer-like. So I guess that does keep Minority Reporter as the most computer-like thing I've ever built. If I want to make it look more computer-like, I can just shift these to be grouped more closely together. I think this looks really nice though. Alright, this is gonna be it then. I don't think I'm gonna try and resolve or how do I say it? I think I'm gonna try and optimize any of this. This is about as good as I can get. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it. That's probably gonna be it for this episode as well. I've spent really long already. So yeah, next episode we'll move on to the quote-unquote final puzzle, since I've already given up on Altitude Plotter. Yeah, final puzzle, Neural Link Conflux. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it won't be too much of a challenge, although I will expect it to be a big, big challenge. Since it is, you know, the last level officially, hopefully. So yeah, we'll work on this next episode. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Bye bye!